It is starting to feel a little like autumn, isn't it? The air is getting a bit cooler this afternoon.
It is. I noticed the leaves on the trees in the park are just starting to change color. Summer went by so fast this year.
It always does. This time of year always makes me feel a bit nostalgic. I start thinking about all the summer holidays I have had in the past.
Me too. It is a nice feeling to remember all the good times. Do you have a favorite vacation from your childhood? One that you remember more than any other?
I have a few good ones. But what about you? You look like you have a very specific memory in your mind right now. Your face just lit up.
I do. There is one family vacation that I think was the most perfect holiday we ever had. I was about 10 years old, so it was a long time ago, but I remember it so clearly.
That is the sign of a really great memory. Where did you go? Was it a trip far away or somewhere close to home here in Austria?
We drove to Italy for 2 weeks. We went to a small, charming seaside town called Cowley. It is on the coast, not too far from Venice. It was my first time ever seeing the ocean.
Your first time seeing the ocean? That is a very special memory to have. Who went on the trip? Was it just you and your parents?
It was me, my parents, and my older brother, David. The four of us, packed into our small family car for a big adventure. I was so excited I could not sleep for a week before we left.
I know that feeling of pre-holiday excitement. It is the best. So you drove all the way from Austria to Italy. That is quite a long car journey for a 10-year-old.
It was a very long drive. I think it took about 6 or 7 hours, but it was part of the fun. My brother and I had our books and games in the back seat. We played I Spy for hours and listened to music on my dad's old cassette player.
That sounds like a classic family road trip. Did you and your brother fight in the back of the car? My sister and I always used to argue on long journeys.
Oh, of course we did. I think we had a few small arguments about who had more space in the back seat, but mostly we were just too excited to fight. I remember the moment we crossed the border into Italy. Everything felt different. The road signs were in a new language, and the air felt warmer.
And what about the moment you first saw the sea? Do you remember that?
I remember it perfectly. My dad said, "Look, kids, there it is." And I looked out the window, and I saw this huge, sparkling blue expanse of water. I had never seen anything so big and beautiful in my life. I was speechless.
That must have been an incredible moment. So what was the town of Cowley like? And your hotel?
The town was lovely. It had a beautiful old center with narrow, winding streets and colorful houses. Our hotel was very simple, but it was perfect for us. It was a small, family-run hotel, and our room had a little balcony with a view of the sea.
A room with a sea view. That is the dream. Did you go to the beach on the first day?
We did. As soon as we dropped our bags in the room, we put on our swimming costumes and ran straight to the beach. I remember the feeling of the hot sand under my feet. The beaches there are famous for their golden sand.
And what did you do at the beach? Did you go swimming straight away?
Of course, the water was so warm and salty, it was completely different from the cold mountain lakes in Austria. My brother and I spent hours just splashing in the waves. Later, my dad helped us build a giant sandcastle with towers and a moat. We were so proud of it.
It sounds like an idyllic childhood holiday. Warm sea, golden sand, and sandcastles. What about the food? Italian food is one of the best parts of any trip to Italy.
The food was a revelation. It was my first time having real, authentic Italian pizza, cooked in a proper wood-fired oven. It was thin and crispy, and it tasted like heaven. I think I ate pizza almost every single day.
I would have done the same thing. A pizza a day is a good holiday rule. What about the other famous Italian food? The ice cream.
The gelato. It was incredible. There was a small gelato shop near our hotel, and they had dozens of different flavors. Every evening after dinner, my parents would give us some money, and my brother and I would go to the shop to choose our flavor for the day. My favorite was pistachio.
Pistachio is a great choice. It sounds like you and your brother had a lot of fun together on that trip.
We really did. We were at the perfect age for it. We had so many little adventures. I remember one very funny story with my brother.
A funny story? Please tell me.
One afternoon, we were exploring the rock pools at the end of the beach. My brother found a small crab hiding under a rock. He was fascinated by it. He decided he wanted to be its friend.
He wanted to be friends with a crab? That is very sweet. How did that work out for him?
Not very well. He gently tried to pick the crab up. I told him it was a bad idea, but he did not listen to me. The crab was obviously not interested in being friends because it reached out with its little pincer and pinched my brother's finger.
Oh no! Did it hurt him?
He was so surprised. He shouted, "Ouch!" and dropped the crab immediately. He was not badly hurt. It was just a little pinch. But he was very offended that the crab did not want to be his friend. He did not try to talk to any more crabs after that. We still laugh about it to this day.
That is a brilliant story. The little boy who was rejected by a crab. Did you do anything else on your holiday besides going to the beach and eating gelato?
Yes, we did. One day, my parents decided we should take a day trip to Venice. It was only about an hour away by boat.
You went to Venice when you were 10? Wow! What did you think of it? It is such a unique and magical city.
It blew my mind. I could not understand how a city could have canals instead of streets. It felt like we had traveled to a different planet. We saw the beautiful St. Mark's Square with all the pigeons.
Did you go on a gondola ride? That is the classic Venetian experience.
We did. The four of us all got into one of those beautiful black boats. I remember the gondolier was singing in Italian as he pushed us through the narrow canals. It felt like something out of a fairy tale.
It sounds like an absolutely perfect vacation. You had the relaxing beach part, and you also had the exciting cultural part with the trip to Venice. What was it that made that holiday so special, do you think? Was it just the location?
The location was amazing, of course, but I think the real reason it is my favorite memory is because of the feeling of the holiday.
The feeling? What do you mean by that?
It was a time when we were all together as a family, and everyone was completely happy and relaxed. My parents were not stressed about their jobs. My brother and I were not worried about school. We had 2 whole weeks with nothing to do except have fun together.
That is a very beautiful way to put it. It is the feeling of shared happiness that makes the memories so strong.
Exactly. We were a little team on an adventure. We were creating all these wonderful memories together, like the sandcastle and the story of the crab. It was a very simple holiday, but it was full of joy.
It sounds like it. It is often the simple holidays that are the best. Did you bring back any souvenirs from that trip? Do you still have anything to remind you of it?
That is a great question. Yes, I do. When we were in Venice, my parents bought me a small souvenir. Venice is famous for its beautiful glassware, made on the nearby island of Murano.
Murano glass. Yes, I have heard of that. It is very colorful and delicate. What did they buy you?
They bought me a tiny glass animal. It is a little blue and green bird. It is only about 3 centimeters tall, but it is incredibly detailed and beautiful.
A little glass bird. That is a lovely souvenir. Do you still have it?
Yes, I do. I have kept it safe for all these years. It sits on the bookshelf in my bedroom. Every time I look at it, it is not just a piece of glass. It is a little piece of that perfect holiday. It reminds me of the warm sun, the taste of gelato, and the sound of my brother laughing.
That is so wonderful, Sarah, to have a physical object that holds so much happy emotion. Thank you so much for sharing that whole story with me. It was so vivid and detailed. I feel like I was there with you.
It was my pleasure to share it. It has been so nice to talk about it and to remember all those little details. It has put me in a very happy mood.
Me too. It has made me think about my own favorite family vacation. It was a hiking trip in the Austrian Alps. A very different kind of holiday from your Italian beach trip, but it had the same feeling of family and adventure.
We should talk about that one next time. It is important to hold on to these happy memories. They are like little pockets of sunshine that you can visit whenever you want.
That is a perfect way to describe it. Well, this has been a lovely trip down memory lane, but I think our coffee is getting cold.